This program is financially supported by the fundings from the European Commission.
You are listening to the EBU Access Cast, the first official podcast from European Blind Union about assistive technology for blind and partially sighted people. And here are the hosts.
Welcome to the 27th episode of the EBU Access Cast. My name is Mario Percinic. I'm coming to you from Luxembourg. And I have with me a bunch of my friends and some new guests in the show. Yeah. We traveled way up to the North Pole because we have a new person in the show. So let's wish him warm welcome from us. Hello to Kleiner Fjorn. And what was your last name?
Kleiner Thor Agnarsson.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Yeah. It's the first time we have the Icelander in the podcast.
I'm glad to be your first.
Yeah. Actually, we also contributed some long time ago with Birkir Gunnarsson.
Yeah, good friend of mine.
Yeah, who is in the States. Yeah, hello to Birkir.
Busy man.
Yeah. And except Kleiner, we have Tanya from Luxembourg. Hello.
Hello, Mario. Hello, everyone.
Bart from Belgium. Hello, Bart.
Hello, everyone.
And Pavel from, where are you now? Austria, okay.
From Poland in Austria, yes. Hello.
In Austria, okay.
Yeah, hello.
Folks, how is it going in these cold and, contagious times?
Luckily, we have internet.
Yeah, that's good.
Just wanted to say, if it wasn't for Zoom, it would be quite lonely.
Yeah, and online shopping, it would be really difficult now. It's quite easy with this. I mean, it helps.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you finished buying all your Christmas presents?
No, actually, we didn't start. But yesterday was Black Friday, by the way.
Yeah, I finished
Yes,
before
indeed.
Black Friday, even.
Yeah.
Mostly
So,
everything bought online.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody got some new gadgets this month?
Well, yes, I bought a new laptop.
Really?
Because my old laptop was already 6 years old, even though it was still working more or less okay. But as it was old, some features were not well supported. And one of them was that with the old laptop, I couldn't use the virtual background on Zoom, which is quite helpful if we are giving presentations on Zoom. So this was maybe the last reason where I decided, no, I need to buy a new laptop. And I decided to buy an HP, 15.6 inches, from the series Omen 15. It is quite powerful. It has an i9 processor and 32 gigabytes of DDR RAM.
What?
Whoa.
Well done.
I wanted a really powerful laptop. I wanted it flies, and I have a plane.
Are you going to be a gamer now? With such a powerful
Almost.
It
equipment?
is. I think it is a gamer
It
machine.
is. It is a gaming
That's what I
machine.
thought.
But I wanted a powerful laptop. So then I have it. And it has 512 SSD card, plus
SSD
one disk, SSD disk, plus 1 terabyte of SATA disk. Which is much more compared to what I had in the previous laptop, because the other one had only SSD disk with much less capacity. But there is a small issue that I encountered. I hope that it will be fixed now. The laptop was restarting from time to time on its own, and it restarted in moments it didn't had to. So I hope it is fixed. We found out that it may happen on Omen models of HP, maybe because of graphical card, but at the moment I'm really not sure what is the cause. So I hope I will not restart at one point during the recording. But besides this, it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's 2 kilograms and 6 heavy. Which for aluminium and 15 inches, it's fine. It's larger compared to my old laptop. I had a 12-inch laptop before, so, well, it's bigger, but it's convenient because it has a numpad, part of the keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
that's
convenient
useful
for
when you're using a screen readers, definitely.
Yeah, it is convenient for us for insert and for the numbers. Okay, depending what you want on the keyboard, but it's very convenient for us. The keyboard is.
How about the arrow keys? Because I have I see the tendency that up and down arrow keys are using the same space as left and right, and I think I will have a hard time getting used to that. How is yours?
Mine is standard.
Okay.
It's standard. So also.
That's something I would look for indeed.
Yeah.
But
also,
it's a good question. Bart raised a good question because, for example, I have the HP machine, which is from 2017. And it also belongs to the gamers' laptops. But it's Pavilion series. And its up and down keys for the arrows are, let's say, a little bit squashed. Which I got used to it in 2 days, in less, maybe 1 day. At the beginning, it seems like, it could be a problematic, but after a day, you get used to it.
Even if you use a different machine at work or
Yeah. It's okay.
I think I would have a hard time switching, but
Let's say that, for example, the one when you would put the two of, actually it is like that. So when you put up and down keys together, they are size of another key. So it's like half of the keys up and half of the keys down. But this is on my machine. I think on Tanya's machine they have
mine is standard.
Yeah,
it's
so
on the standard keyboard. And I don't have another key close to arrow keys, which is also convenient because it is like on a standard keyboard. I don't have a right control key instead of this.
Which is kind of becoming standard today.
Yeah, well, I have a less and greater on that key.
Now you say it, I think I've never ever used the right control key in my life.
Yes. Well, I was
for
using
a Control A, for instance, I think I would use it because then you can do it with two hands.
But it's
Control A, Control C. I think I use the right one.
Yeah, also
they're
for
right there
silencing
next to
screen
each
reader.
other almost.
No,
Yeah.
But you can do it with your left hand. I'm
yeah,
just
you can. Sure.
Yeah.
But there's a beautiful thing in having the numpad on your laptop.
Sure.
I usually have it when I buy laptops for myself, since I am visually impaired. So I'm usually looking at around 17-inch laptops, which makes picking one much easier for me since there are not that many around. But my work laptop is, I think it's Dell Latitude, something like that, 15.6 inch, and of course I use external keyboard and a mouse and two 23-inch screens while working, but I sure do miss the numpad when I'm working at home.
Yeah, well, for me now it's a luxury to have also the numpad because I did not have it for 6 years on my previous laptop. So now I suddenly have a bigger keyboard. But, well, I don't have the right Windows key, which is also becoming a standard to not have it.
The application key.
Yeah, the application key. While for the rest, the home and page up, page down are used in combination with FN. And the F keys are well separated, like on a standard keyboard. So the keyboard is very pleasant. The keys are well separated. The keys are not attached so that it's difficult to distinguish blocks of F keys or numpad and so. So I think it's a good choice. I really like the laptop. It's the most important is very, very fast, and I hope it will not crash again.
Can you actually see that because it's a gaming laptop and it's so powerful, your assistive technology runs faster with it?
Well, everything runs faster.
Okay.
I don't
Fair
know. Compared to my old laptop, it has much powerful processor and RAM and everything. I'm not sure regarding specifically screen readers because everything runs faster, including screen readers. So even when I'm starting, for example, JAWS, that on a previous laptop would need like 15 seconds or so, here it starts much faster. If I'm entering a heavy page full of videos and pictures, now it just opens like a notepad.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. That's a cool thing when you have enough resources. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I noticed, for example, that when I switched to my current machine from the laptop that I used to have before, which didn't have SSD and it had just 4 gigs of RAM, which was okay for that time. But when I went to the SSD machine, man, the thing started flying around. So I can, I can just imagine.
Yeah.
I was reading also that those HPs, that they also have quite cool design in the cooling system. So the air is blowing from different sides.
Yeah, exactly. It has the fan on the right of the laptop and on the back. Well, it's much larger compared to what I had before, probably because it uses so much.
Yeah, it's much more powerful machine.
Powerful,
so that's why,
Is it less noisy because how large it is?
Well, it is more noisy comparing to my previous, but it is not. Normally, it's not using the full fan all the time. Only when you are loading something that it's that takes more resources. But normally, it's not noisy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So congratulations on your new purchase.
Yeah, well, I think I will not have any Christmas purchases. Yeah, it was quite expensive, but I'm really happy.
Nice. That's cool. Anybody else to report?
I so far could resist, despite all the Black Friday emails trying to make you buy things. I think I should have a new iPhone because I'm still having iPhone 6, which is going only till iOS version 12.
Yeah.
Now, on the one hand, it's still running fine. I still go, even if I never change the battery, I still can get through the day with the battery.
Wow.
So, on one hand, there are, of course, interesting improvements in iOS 14 that I don't have, but can I live without them? I think yes. So, I'm in a doubt, but there is no compelling reason at the moment to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, even though you can live without them, it doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah, of course. Actually, I ordered a new headset for me, but it's not here yet, so I cannot say anything about it. It will arrive next week, and if everything runs fine, then I will have something to report for the next podcast. But I ordered for Black Friday the new Aftershocks Aero Packs, which are the newest bone conduction headphones from the Aftershocks. And one of the reasons why I ordered them was because people said that finally the issue with usage in the VoIP services such as Zoom, Skype, etc., whatever we are using now, Teams, this headset works fine because it's Bluetooth 5 compatible. So it should be running fine, but I'm waiting to see how it will run for real. And yeah, they're saying also that it has now a magnetic charging port instead of the USB. And some things relating to design and the projection of the base and stuff is much better than the previous ones. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see it. But yeah, more about it in the next episode, probably. Okay, so after we did our Gadgets Corner for the beginning, let's jump into the news section and see what we have for this episode.
And now, accessibility in the news.
And for this episode, the first thing comes from Google, or better to say, from one small company called Live Accessible. They are based in the States, who actually compiled the list of all the multi-finger gestures for TalkBack, which just have been released 2 months ago. So eventually and I'm really happy to see that somebody finally came up with those gestures and a very cool YouTube video, because unfortunately Google didn't come up with the official explanations for the whole thing related to the multi-finger gestures in Android 11, which is really, really a shame.
Mm-hmm. I cannot imagine why they wouldn't brag themselves about this one.
You would think they're proud of having them now.
Yeah, you would think so.
The thing is that I honestly think, as I'm the Android user, and I pretty much think that Pavel will agree that this is something that we were really waiting for a long, long time. And this is one of the best accessibility improvements in the next. It was a long time since we got something like
such a revolution, let's say. Yeah.
And
they were also catching up with iOS on a lot of things as well.
Sure. And right now, when you look at this list of those gestures and the functions that you can do, you can really see that Android is now very next to the iOS in terms of usability. However, for unknown reason, in the official Google Help pages from the Android Accessibility Suite, you cannot find anything about it, which is total shame for Google. Like, guys, come on.
They take their sweet time to catch up quite often. If you look at how often the code base of TalkBack on GitHub is updated, even though they made some kind of declaration it's going to be open source, it's not like they abandon it. It's more like every once in a while they come up with, okay, we have this GitHub repository. Okay, we should probably update it. And then you have it. And then it's not like they develop on this repo and you see all the changes come in. It's just like every once in a while, once the production cycle is over for a certain version, they'll update it. And I have a sad feeling there might be a similar thing going on with the help pages.
It might be, but it does not
of course,
bring justice.
No, it doesn't, but it explains. Like it points to the source of the problem more.
Yeah. I mean, what's really interesting is that, somebody who's totally unaffiliated to Google took its time, did the proper video, and did the really good HTML presentation of all the gestures, what do they do, how do they work, and stuff like that. And Google didn't find the time to do that. I mean, come on, guys. That's not okay.
Yeah. Shame on Google.
Yeah, shame on Google. Absolutely.
But nice work, though.
But nice work from the guys from Live Accessible. Absolutely. So, yeah, if you are up on getting Android 11 and you were wondering what to do, check out the link in our show notes for the Live Accessible website and all the gestures.
There is also, because we mentioned that there are some additional options also coming, like the stopping and starting of multimedia content.
Yeah.
And now it turns out, I saw a thread on Audio Games Forum, one of the users got a hold of Android 11, and there are some more undocumented features too.
No way, what?
For example, there is a gesture that lets you pass through the next gesture out of the accessibility services. So if you want to perform
that's the one, that's the 4-finger thing, yeah.
Also the selector was redesigned, and now if you use the selector, you can set every point of the granularity options as a separate thing. It's not like one granularity option. There are just different granularity options, so you can switch between words, characters, lines, language, because language is a new option as well.
Yeah.
And
speech
speed
rate.
and
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not like one granularity and the gestures just do the different levels of it. You can just put the granularity options individually in the selector as you want. And also the language is finally there, so you can change languages on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also switch the screen curtain on the fly. The dim screen. The dim screen. Yeah.
So I mean, this is what I was saying, earlier. This is really becoming very, very similar to the iOS, basically, because now eventually this is very similar to the rotor options.
Indeed.
What exists on the iOS? So yeah. Well, actually, I cannot wait for my Samsung to be updated to the Android 11, which should be soon. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I get it for Christmas.
My Motorola will not be, I'm pretty certain. But, well, that's something to look out for the next phone I get.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Now I might ask.
Sure.
Since I've been using screen readers for probably a year now, but I don't use them regularly for myself. This is TalkBack that we're talking about. Now I have a Samsung and I've been using Voice Assistant instead of TalkBack just because I had to start somewhere, and this was just the Voice Assistant was above the TalkBack, so I turned on the Voice Assistant. Would you recommend for me, who is, as I said, not using, but I'm doing accessibility researches on certain apps and certain pages through mobile phone, would you recommend using both or just switching over to TalkBack with those new multi-finger gestures?
Yeah. May I ask you which exactly phone do you have?
I have the Samsung Galaxy A70.
A70?
Yeah, A70.
So A70 is one of the phones that probably will get updated to the Android 11. And in the previous episode, we were talking about that all Samsung devices which will get updated to Android 11 will be updated also with the new TalkBack, which will replace the voice assistant. So there will be no more Samsung voice assistant.
Okay.
It's going to retirement. So
so no need to choose anymore.
No, you will not need to choose anymore, and basically all the things that we just talked about will apply also for the old Samsung devices, which will go to the Android 11. So yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for the existing users, but for your testing, it will be easier.
Yeah.
So I might just switch now.
You will be forced anyway someday. So
yeah. So if you want to just get some practicing, it would be wise to switch earlier and get familiar. So, when the update time comes, that you don't get lost.
I guess that you now know what I'll be doing for Christmas.
Yeah. All right. So after we talked about some new things for the Androids, Tanya discovered something really interesting, and that's unfortunate for Zoom. And that's basically a bug. It's a Zoom bug that it's even not documented yet. I tried also searching around on the Zoom tickets and I couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. Googling also doesn't bring it up, even though the bug is happening to almost everybody. And it's the thing connected to the
screen reader.
To the screen reader, just so. And the thing is that the Zoom is reproducing some error when you're trying to use a virtual background.
This is the demo for the Zoom bug when you are using a screen reader, JAWS or NVDA, and a virtual background when the video is turned on. I will open Zoom now.
Start window. Zoom app. Press Zoom window. Starting a new meeting with video on button.
and go into settings to see where you can change the virtual background.
Setting button.
You go in settings from the main window of Zoom.
Settings window. List general selected.
I tapped, and the first option is general.
Video select, audio selected, share screen selected, chat selected, background and filter selected.
Background and filter is the option that we
List,
have to select with the spacebar.
Cancel button. OK button.
And immediately already there, because I have the virtual background already selected, I have this error popping up that doesn't read anything. It's only OK and cancel.
Cancel button, OK button.
So I will press Insert B to try to read more.
On this dialog, OK button, Zoom window, system menu bar contains commands to manipulate the window, Alt plus.
And it says ALM host, but actually NVDA says ALM host, but when JAWS is enabled, it tells something different. Again, a message that doesn't make any sense. So I will go to OK.
Cancel button, OK button, list on this dialog, OK button.
It pops up again. I will press again OK.
List on this dialog, OK button.
And again OK.
List background and filter selected.
And it disappears. So it always appears 3 times. I will tap to go through the settings of the virtual background.
Rotate 90 degrees button. Virtual backgrounds tab selected checked.
So it is selected.
Add image or video button.
I have an option add image or video. I selected image.
List background IDPC annual plenary meeting selected.
And here I have the name of the image that I selected. It happens the same with any image, even with the default images from Zoom. It is absolutely the same. Okay, so I will go back.
Setting button.
And start a meeting.
Starting a new meeting with video on button. OK button. Cancel button.
And then
You are
again,
using the computer audio alert. OK button.
we have this annoying pop-up. This time I will press cancel.
You are in the meeting. OK button. Cancel button. Return on this dialog. OK button. Cancel button.
And cancel.
Zoom window. Return to meeting button. Schedule button. On this dialog. OK button.
Okay, here it is again.
Cancel button. Schedule
Cancel.
button.
If you Alt-Tab and come back into Zoom, it will disappear. But again, if this error message appears, the video is unstable and the virtual background unfortunately appears and disappears. And if you select a virtual background and you expected that it works, it is somehow unexpected that the others see suddenly you without background. So it makes the video unstable, unfortunately. And the way how to avoid it is to turn off the screen reader, learn the steps how to activate the video without the screen reader, and then turn the screen reader back again. This is the workaround that I used and it worked, but it is quite tricky. So for the moment we can complain to Zoom and hope that this will be fixed as soon as possible. Yeah, so if you want I can explain. Yeah, so I discovered the bug at the same moment when my laptop arrived. So I also did not suspect in Zoom that there is a bug in Zoom that gives error when you're using a virtual background and screen reader at the same time. If you're not using virtual background and you have without it, it will not pop up this error. But if you have a screen reader with the virtual background and the video on, in the moment when you activate the video or when it is activated by itself, there is an error that is not even visible on the screen. So it was really difficult for me to discover what is causing this issue. I was thinking also it's a graphical card from my new laptop, it's some drivers, it's whatever. But then at the end it was Zoom. We discovered it also on Mario's laptop, the same.
Yeah.
And it happens in the last update from Zoom, in the last version. And there is no way how you can avoid it. It happens with JAWS and NVDA. A workaround is to turn off the screen reader and activate the video and turn on the screen reader again. The problem of this error is not only that it pops up and it gives you an OK and cancel button, and then you press either of them, OK or cancel, and then it pops up again. You press it again, it pops up again. So it's really annoying. It also makes us unstable your video. So on the other side people will see you with the background, without, with the background, without. So it will change by its own without any...
With no explanation, actually.
Yeah, without any changes on your side. So it's pretty annoying. And it's inconvenient for us when we are delivering a presentation and you're not aware if you have a background or no. And, also this annoying dialogue. So we have to report this to Zoom because it's impossible that it happens just like this with the screen reader and with the virtual background.
Yeah. As Tanya mentioned, I also tested the things on my machine, which is like 3.5 years old, and it does happen on my machine as well. However, why is it only difficult not to spot it is because if you have virtual backgrounds turned off, your video will start and stop without any errors and there will be no problem.
Yeah.
However, once you decide to use the virtual background, then you're starting to have a problem. And I thought at the beginning when we noticed that maybe it's a local thing, then we were asking for a few friends who connected remotely, but they couldn't see it on the screen, and we were like, okay, maybe it's remote thing. Then I had a friend of mine here, and he was also not able to see, and I was like, okay, this is really bizarre. And the screen readers are detecting something, but eventually it's kind of tricky thing, and it's really said that it helps only if you're running screen reader. And as I was saying, the bug is not documented yet, so we will have to raise the issue.
It's surprising that it's good that you tested it with NJAWS and NVDA, because we know they use a different method of accessing the screen information. So
well, and it's really inconvenient because you think, okay, once you access a meeting, you activate the video once and it's fine. But if you are on a meeting where they use breakout rooms, your video stops and starts automatically. Again, you will have this error message. And when you're going back from the breakout room to the main session again, this error. So it's pretty annoying.
I've never tried to set a virtual background, but I understand why you would want it to work. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yes, it's pretty convenient in a professional environment. You don't want others to see your place. We are all working from home. So, I mean, why not?
Sure.
But then, of course, it shouldn't give you these errors and invisible errors. Even worse. So it's difficult then to discover what is the issue. But actually it is a bug.
Yeah. Pavel, did you notice that as well on your side? Or
I have a feeling I tried the virtual background some time ago, like a month or two. I'm not sure if that really worked.
No, at that time it was not the case, because actually one of the reasons why I decided to buy a new laptop was one of them, the virtual background. And I tested it on another laptop and it worked perfectly. So I said, this works fine. It's really the time to have a new laptop. So it's 2 weeks now.
Okay, that must be pretty new. No, I haven't checked it yet, but I will need to do that. Maybe we'll find a workaround.
Yeah, just one thing came up to my mind right now, but that's just a question of internal testing to see whether it works. Because both screen readers, JAWS and NVDA, have a sleep mode. So I'm wondering if this error will come up if you just enable the sleep mode, so you don't need to toggle the screen reader completely off.
It's almost the same. I mean, you don't hear it.
Sure, you don't hear it, but the screen reader stays kind of active in the system. So I'm wondering whether this error will appear or not. This is just what I'm...
Well, but it's still a workaround that we have to do to avoid this.
It shouldn't be necessary.
Error, yes.
To do this.
Yeah. Well, we have to report.
Well, we need to report it.
And if you notice these two on your side, report it as well, so that Zoom makes the change.
The Zoom knows what to do. Okay, so since we are on the virtual chat platforms, another news is saying that Microsoft Teams should have Slack and Zoom on alert with these latest updates. Now, why is that? Well, because Microsoft is really pushing forward with the development of many of their software, and Teams is being one of them. It's being very much used since the beginning of the pandemics. I started, for example, professionally using it at work as well. So I'm pretty much using it on the daily basis for the last 6 to 7 months, or even longer, 8. Yeah. And I remember when it was the beginning of 2020, Microsoft said that during the later time of the year, they will also allow usage of the Teams from the personal Microsoft accounts. So because before you would need to have the Office 365 account associated with Teams that you are able to use it. And since like 2 weeks ago, they deployed new updates, and the new updates also allow you to use your personal Microsoft account. So if you have like a Skype account that you're using or whatever, that's also your Microsoft account. So you can safely log into your Teams and chat with the other team users similarly to what we were doing basically on Skype. And from what I don't know, this is just my initial guess, but I think that Microsoft is going to replace Skype at some time. At least Skype for Business is going to disappear for sure. This is no longer going to be in development because Teams is replacing Skype. However, what I have to say is that even on the mobile phones from the Android side and on the Windows side, the accessibility of Teams is amazing. I don't know if some of you are using it also, but I have to say that it's really nice to see that the program is really responding with screen readers, and I don't see myself the reason why should I use an extra script for Teams if I need to or whatever. Everything is being read out loud. You can get to the information that you need.
Yeah.
So you're using the client then, or the web-based?
I'm using the clients. I've used the web-based version as well, but I'm using the clients on the phone and on the machines.
Mm-hmm. I use it occasionally. And as you say, I almost hear no one anymore using Skype. To Skype was even like a verb. Let's Skype.
Yeah.
Which is a bit harder with let's Teams maybe, but yeah, I think that it's Skype is might disappear.
There's still Skype Business somewhere.
But as I said, Skype Business will go away. It's being replaced by Teams. That's definitely what you can see.
Yeah,
so they wanted to have it die out.
Yeah.
Just need to implement the telephony part where you can actually integrate Teams with your PBX or with your telephone lines, the traditional telephone lines.
Yeah, it's some time now since they said that they were switching Skype for Business out for Teams. I was working for Vodafone here in Iceland for 7 years, and I think it's about maybe 2 years ago when we started switching out from Skype to Business over to Teams.
Okay.
And using Teams more and more.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But Teams has also much more functionalities comparing to Skype.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So I see why it replaces Skype.
It's a logical step.
Yeah. And
more
for
integrated
us,
also.
Yeah, and for us it's convenient because we can share also audio with the screen, which we couldn't do with Skype. We could share only the screen there. And for showing our screen readers, it's very convenient. And you can also give remote assistance to someone over Teams.
Yeah, which is really nice feature. For example, especially now when you cannot get physical help from somebody, you can, if there are some situations, and let's be honest, like if you're blind, and have any kind of disability, you will, sooner or later encounter some problem where you will need help from somebody. And the fact that you can use it, you use the Teams to do that now, and it's really simple how you can do that, and it's effective. So
I'm using this through Zoom indeed, and I'm happy to hear that it works now with Teams as well. It's very useful.
I tried the private part of Zoom of Teams, where you log in with your private account. I actually discovered it by accident because I was giving a workshop on Teams, and at some point, my participants and we couldn't really find each other to add to the organization I founded for the workshop. And we were wondering what the problem is. And then it turned out that somebody was logged in with their private entity and they weren't receiving any requests whatsoever. And they had to somehow look in the email or re-log in. And then I discovered that you actually can switch between your organization sort of side of things and the private one, which is sort of a nice metaphor for like switching off from your work life and switching over to the private life and vice versa, so they don't get mixed up. But I really regret that there are so many features missing from the private version of Teams. For instance, I really like the way the messages are threaded in conversations on the Teams for actual Teams, where you just navigate from the messages up and down until you find a new thread, and then you click enter, and the thread expands in its own sort of interface. And you just watch the replies to that one thread. And when you think of all the Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups that, for example, in different countries, blind people are formed by blind people to, for example, serve technical support or exchange ideas, exchange advice on technology. Nowadays, a lot of people use WhatsApp for that or Facebook, which, Facebook is still better than WhatsApp, but it's a lot of mess with people discussing everything all over the place, and it's difficult to keep the structure. And keep things in separate threads. So like to make the old good mailing list a bit more modern and instant message like. And on Teams, this is perfect, except it only works in the organizational setting, not in the private one, which I think is a pity because the interface is there. It works great with screen readers. You can expand and collapse the threads, but it's not there in the private version.
But I think that this is something that it could be reported to Microsoft, and there are people over there who are reading the stuff. So
if they find it a priority to add this, if they think this is relevant for like private communication, because maybe they have a different, but definitely we can report it, you can report it, and maybe they listen. Who knows?
I can definitely see them adding this to the personal profile.
Yeah.
I cannot see why not.
Actually, No, thumbs up for Teams, absolutely. This is one of the software that was kind of on the new list of things I started using during 2020. And when you find the piece of software that is in the same time accessible for us, that's the 2+ up. So congrats to Microsoft.
I think it may just look a bit scary for new users because it's a bit big, and when you navigate with either tab. So you can navigate in two ways, either with tab, shift tab, like a normal app, or with, like a web page. And for me, at least at the beginning, it was quite scary. Also, if you don't use the English version, but like I use the Polish translation, I couldn't figure out what all the buttons and options are about. Maybe that's the translation's fault, but it seemed really huge to me. And this was like a feeling a lot of my friends shared when they called me asking for advice or support. This is so big. With Zoom, if you have a good guidance on where things are, you can quickly figure it out. Here, there is a lot of like toolbars, tabs, lists, headings, edit fields. And I think a good place to start is just pressing Ctrl dot or Ctrl period and reading through the shortcut keys, because at the beginning, they will really help you reach the most strategic areas of the app quicker.
Yeah, even though there is a really good accessible guidelines on the Microsoft
that too,
page.
Yes, that too.
Which is explaining how to use it. And I agree that when you start using Teams at the beginning, it can get kind of confusing, let's say. And there is some time for transition.
I totally agree. And I think that they probably know about that as well, that people are a bit overwhelmed when first using Teams. I know I was also. So it took me a while to get into it, but the pandemic surely helped me to use Teams much more because it was necessary. But we held our general assembly last October now at the Icelandic Association for the Visually Impaired, and we were choosing which program we would use since we couldn't come together.
Yeah.
And we decided on Zoom instead of Teams because of actually how simple it was. It wasn't overwhelming at all. We had good experience with it. It was just like 4 or 5 shortcuts that people needed to know to like raise the hand.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Unmute. So we chose Zoom for that.
No.
I think the trouble is not that applications are today totally inaccessible. I'm sure that Google Meet can be used, Teams can be used, Zoom, but we need some time of familiarization with the new interface, and we need to learn shortcuts. And it's just annoying that if you have in the morning a meeting with Teams and in the afternoon one with Google Meet, and then maybe for your leisure time in the evening one with Zoom, that's for me a bit heavy to memorize all the different interfaces.
Yeah, and then you have a webinar through GoToWebinar.
GoToWebinar, WebEx,
there is
Adobe Connect. So I'm a big fan of Zoom, but that's mostly because we chose it to use it on a daily basis. And of course, what you use a lot is what you like and what you know well. But I'm absolutely happy that all the other platforms can be accessible as well. But this switching, I think for a sighted person, this is not so difficult because they kind of recognize easily where things are on the screen and it goes relatively fast. Mm-hmm. But for us who have to memorize all the shortcuts and they update also quite frequently nowadays, of course. Everybody's using them, so many feature requests. And so to keep up with the different platforms, that's not so easy.
Yeah. Also, what I love about in Teams is that when you have a meeting, let's say it's a staff meeting or a larger meeting between a few different organizations, is the automatic creation of a conversation in the chat with all the participants in the meeting. So you can there discuss with all those who were partaking in the meeting if you forgot something or you had any links or slides that you wanted to share afterwards, and you have a already made conversation with those people. And I very much like that feeture.
Okay, yeah.
Can you
also how simple it is to like you were talking about how to change between accounts, because I have my account with my association, and I'm also a guest in the teams of the national institution, and it's very easy for me to switch between those two accounts, even though it's on the same email address.
Can you actually already, because I think they had a plan about this, invite external people to your Teams meetings? So, for example, you're having an external expert at a conference who you just would like to pop in for an hour to give a lecture, but then you don't want them in the team anymore?
I think that this should be available, yes.
We have been having external contacts at Teams meetings. I did, however, have a problem that I couldn't call anyone except for within my organization through Teams. Mm-hmm. So it was but only what had...
you need to invite them as a part of the organization, or you can just invite them for a one meeting in the organization?
I think you can invite them as a guest, but does that expire at any time? I'm not sure. So what I actually did too was that instead of just calling, I created a meeting with them, and that worked. But it's kind of a weird workaround. If I can have a meeting with whoever I want, why can't I call someone also?
I think the mobile apps are quite a nice starter as well. If you feel a bit overwhelmed by the desktop app and you're in a panic situation, like suddenly out of the blue you were asked to come into a job interview on Teams and you've never used Teams before, or your professor is expecting you at a lecture at 8 in the morning sharp on Teams and you've never used Teams before, I think the mobile apps are a bit easier with the interface if you really need to get grips with this fast.
Absolutely, yes. And especially...
And sorry, I think it's definitely also the case. They probably will add some features to the personal account on Teams later on. I think they probably don't want to overwhelm users in the beginning, like we all probably felt like when we first started using Teams within organizations.
Yeah. And for example, my phone is officially licensed to use Teams. Samsung did that with Microsoft. So what's really nifty is that on my phone I have a push-to-talk key for Teams.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. So if I'm on the phone and I need to drop into the meeting, that's cool to have. So after we did our virtual chit chat, it's time to go to the nature for some run, if we want to. But if you have a disability which is connected to the visual impairment, that you might have some obstacles on the way, and that might be the problem. However, it looks like that the situation might change, and that some things could improve on that front, because Google is coming up with the project guideline. It's a very new thing, and the project guideline is a piece of technology which works on your smartphone. And basically what it does is that, from my understanding, is that it's able to catch the guideline on the floor if you're running, and then it's giving you the audio indications if you're on the track or off the track and stuff like that. Actually, there is a video description. There will be a video in our show notes for that. But I think, Hlinor, you saw the video about it, and you said that you are a runner as well, so you can tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, I do run, but I wouldn't call myself a professional runner. This was
you ran the marathon. I didn't, so that's
yeah. I ran a full marathon last year, and my first, but hopefully not my last. What I found very interesting about this and very exciting is that you had a blind runner who hadn't been able to run by himself for over 20 years. And this technology made it possible to do so. And it was a very emotional moment also for me, because I love in the evening to go out for a run. I live in the suburbs of Reykjavik, so I have to run for like 5 minutes, then I'm out of the city and I can run past lakes and through woods, and just being alone, exercising, it feels good. And so this opens up a possibility for, I think, many people to really enjoy running, because you would like to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
This guideline is then something which is pre-recorded and you can follow it again.
No, I think it is, you use your mobile phone, you strap it with a belt on your stomach, and I think it's using the camera to detect.
That must use camera for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's using the camera. They always had those painted guidelines, but I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to detect the pavement, or it might not even be concrete. It might be just a path in the woods. I think they're trying to make it detect as many different pathway surfaces as possible. So you wouldn't need any officials to be painting guidelines all around the places. I think that wouldn't. I think it wouldn't be logical. So, and I also see that this can probably be done. They were using also a racetrack, identifying the space between the lines there, so you could know when to turn also. And there were many people trying it out. A lot of blind people running by themselves in a group. It was very interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to see where this leads to.
Yeah, actually on the project page, they are basically inviting any organizations or individuals who is into the sports and running to get in touch with Google and to see how this technology can improve further, and maybe you would get the chance of testing it out. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we also have here in Iceland one professional runner who is blind and trying to make it to the Olympic Games. So I will definitely be showcasing this to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says that at the moment the technology supports only 2 locations.
Yeah, which I don't understand. What does that basically mean?
So that's what makes me think that it has to be kind of prepared, or that someone has to run the tour first and record the images, and that you can kind of download this virtual tour.
That's for sure, because they're saying that the app works offline.
Yeah, it works offline.
Yeah, so you don't need to be connected on the internet. So there must be some data in the phone which will do the real.
They might be drawing the line on the floor, which I think happens for like official marathons. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hlynur, but I think you need to have like a visual guidance where you need to run so that you don't get off track and say, okay, I was first, but actually you went off the track and you took a shortcut which wasn't official.
Yeah, we actually I ran the Reykjavik Marathon last year. There was no lines or nothing. We were just running on the streets which were closed. I almost took the way back and ran a half marathon, but there was an employee who directed me that I was supposed to turn left, so I did. But there were no lines there, just a lot of employees. Like when we were crossing some roads that weren't closed, they would close them for us so we could run without stopping. But there was no such like clear markings that I could see, except for you just follow the people in front of you, much of the time. And of course, some road closings with railings and something like that, but no line, never.
They also mentioned a virtual line. Maybe the line will be just existing in the app.
Yeah, maybe it might be using GPS, even though it's offline.
Yeah, but then it might be, if it's relying on GPS, then it would have to use very, very precise locations, and that would have to be related to Galileo, because otherwise the GLONASS GPS, for example, doesn't have that narrow.
Yeah, of course, and that's why they must be using the camera, because they're telling you that if you're on a racetrack, if you're on your lane between the lines, or if you're going a little bit too far to the right, it would direct you to the left. So it's far more precise than GPS. So it must be using the camera, but just how it is doing it, I'm not quite sure. But I would very much like to know. Maybe we should dig into that.
What Google is doing already, and I think it's really a shame this doesn't work for blind people anyhow, because I tried it. They have a feature for sighted people where if you get lost and you don't know which way to go, as in if I should turn left or right, if I should go ahead or turn around and go back, it will turn on the camera for you. It will analyze the picture of the buildings around you and anything it can see. It will compare it with the satellite image they already have, and it will paint the arrows indicating the direction for you. And this actually works. I tested it with a sighted person on a Google Maps beta, and I know for sure that with many sighted people, they don't even know where to go sometimes with Google Maps. And they just take like a random turn and see if this is getting better or not really. And then they just turn around if they need to. And in order to eliminate that, there is this feature where I think it's called live camera or live something, live view. And what happens is that, as I said, the image of your camera is analyzed against the satellite image they have. And based on this, the direction is given to you.
Why do you say it's not working for us? Because they only indicate visually where you have to go?
Yes, there is no audific indication, nothing with a screen reader, nothing written in text, nothing like that. There is just this graphical indication, because it's AR, and they just print the AR arrow onto the image you see in the camera.
Could be done with audio for sure.
It definitely could.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. And I think that this is
doing this. There is an app where, especially when you have to start with your guided tour, you don't know in which direction you have to start your route, and I think it's like a compass. You turn around, and when it gives a certain beep or when it stops beeping, that's the way you should start. So Shouldn't be too difficult to make it accessible. Excellent. Nice.
Technically, it's doable, but they just need to think about it. That's it.
Thank you, AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that this is the thing they're doing in this project guideline, because at a certain point of the video, you can hear actually this audio from the smartphone, how it sounds like, and you can definitely hear that when at least I think this is what's happening on the screen, is that as the audio is changing, you can see that the person is going left or right he's not right on the spot of the track. So, yeah.
And also it looked like it was a nice touch that when he was on the right track, it looked like that it was mostly silent. And it only seemed to give him some sound once he was too far to the right or too far to the left.
Okay.
I think it even says in one of the articles I read that the louder the sound is, the further off the track you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, definitely something we should look forward to it. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, we can see how it will develop further. But I see a huge potential in it, which is great.
Yeah, we should definitely keep an eye on this one.
Yep. Okay, so the next topic is very interesting for blind women and blind girls, because eventually it looks like that some people are coming up with the idea of developing a pregnancy test for blind, which I absolutely support. I think that when a woman who is visually impaired or blind cannot see the normal pregnancy test, it's definitely our right to have the test which is accessible by any kind of form. So it's really cool to see that people in RNIB are trying to take care about it. From the article that we have in the show notes, you can see that they developed a prototype with one developer. They developed the prototype of the test, which is tactile based. So from my understanding is that you have like two different indicators on the test. The one that's showing if the test is positive, and the one that's showing that the test is negative. So
I think it's one showing that it works, and if there's a second one, then it's positive. If not, then it's negative. Like the two lines on the regular tests, then with two lines would mean pregnant, and one line would mean that it's working but you're not pregnant.
Okay. Well, yeah. By any case, the thing seems to be tactile, and currently it's in the prototype stage. From my understanding is that people at RNIB want to raise the attention of the health organizations to start implementing something like that on the regular basis, which would be great, because as nobody is supposed to be left behind. And when I can just guess, because I'm not a girl and I'm not a woman, but I can just guess that having the information, if you're a woman, and when you come to the point where you have to do the pregnancy test, you are at least being excited because you are waiting for something, or you're wondering, am I pregnant or not, or whatever. And for sure, this kind of information is bringing lots of emotions to the end consumer, who is, has to take the test. And if you're relying on somebody else to tell you that, and also make some comments about it which you don't want to hear at a certain point, that's really not nice.
Let's just hope that we can make this universally designed, because you don't want, if you want to know the answer, you don't want to order a specific test and wait for it to come by post, and then by then, so it's something you want to have access right away. So if we can find a solution which will be implemented by the regular producers of these test kits.
Yeah. This is an important human rights issue. This is just something that needs to be there. I have two kids myself, and so I know that the moment when the mother has the positive result, this is her moment, and hers only. So this is very, very, very important, and we should look to that. This becomes a universal possibility everywhere.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I think it's also important for couples. I mean, for the woman for sure, but for couples too. I mean, if the partner is blind too, because then you have to share the information again with somebody else who is not your partner. So I think also for the woman for sure, but for the couples also.
Yeah, it's amazing feeling to see a positive pregnancy test. I have done that before, and I can assure you that looking at a positive pregnancy test is a great experience. And if I wouldn't be able to see it, I would definitely want to be able to feel it too. It's an experience.
Yeah. Well, for the moment, the solution that we have is calling Be My Eyes, the special assistance from Clearblue. But again, we have to ask somebody, even though, this person is not somebody who we know, it's a professional who is there for assisting us. But it would be nice to have an accessible pregnancy test.
Correct.
Yeah, let's give a thumbs up for that, and this is also going to be in our show notes. So people who wants to see and support that, definitely use the Twitter. Don't read just the tweets from Donald Trump. You can use it for the other tweets.
Now hopefully not.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. So.
You can also let the companies know that who you trust for this kind of devices, because it's a design project, so you can just tell them, look, there is somebody who designed it for you. You don't even have to do your own R&D for this. Just implement it, and maybe it will be like the medicine at some point where you just expect that all medication you buy has Braille labels on them.
Yeah. The only thing from the technical point of view about this whole test, what I understand is that the part of that test, that's a specialized thing which raises these dots or lines. So you have to insert that testing pattern inside of that thing, and then it's using some vibrating mechanism that raises those lines. Basically, this is how it works.
Yeah, it's like silicone bubbles, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So what I think, I mean, maybe somebody else comes with something else, but from the way how the thing is functioning is that you would need to order that kit, to have it, and then you could maybe use, whatever, their tests or different tests. I don't know, but that's how it works.
Okay.
But again, I mean, this is just a prototype. That's why the prototypes exist, because eventually, when you look at the final product of whatever do we have, the first prototypes were completely something else. I remember even seeing the first, at least what they said, it was like the first prototype of Google Glasses when I was back in Google for the first time at 2013. They were showing us Google Glasses, which did have some kind of the same things which the later versions of the Google Glasses has, but they were also different. So, yeah. Okay, so after we have done all the things relating to the human rights and the rights for having accessible pregnancy tests, we could go to the last topic for today, and that's connected to the PlayStation 5, which just came out last month, I guess. And there has been accessibility news about their new screen reader and what it can do for the moment. Pavel, is that correct?
Yes, we already discussed PlayStation 4 a little bit when talking about The Last of Us in one of the previous episodes, The Last of Us Part 2. And meanwhile, we sort of expected it, but until they announce it, you can never be sure that PlayStation 5 will be better than 4, because in 4 there was a TTS, it was called back then, a facility that was sort of a screen reader. But first of all, it was just available in the US, so not even in English-speaking countries, just the US, so it's like firmware dependent. And secondly, it didn't read everything, as it turned out. So now PS5 is out, and it has a lot of interesting features in store. It has a screen reader. Yeah, it's now called a screen reader. It's not just in English, and it's now firmware independent, so you can get it also in a couple other languages. I believe German, French, Spanish, probably some more, but these are the European languages. Mm-hmm. And the best thing about it is that the startup process is completely accessible. So when you run your console for the first time, you will hear some music. And if you're blind, you just have to wait around a minute, and it will start giving you instructions what you should do. So connect your controller, and then choose this, then go here, then go through the whole wizard, and the whole experience is accessible. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it also gives you the instructions in a couple of languages. So in case you don't speak English, it's not your language, you can still hear it in the other supported languages. So you know from the start what to do, no matter where you come from. And then you can just choose the language that you want. And everything about it is accessible. So wherever you wouldn't go in the settings, almost, there are a couple of exceptions, everything is read out to you. So the achievements that you have already gone through in the games, all the trophies you have earned, the missions you have to do, the activities now they call them, so like these mini quests and also trophies count as activities now, at least for the older games. And all the multimedia apps, you have Netflix pre-installed, there is Twitch, there is Disney Plus is not accessible really, but YouTube, Apple TV even, Apple TV Plus I mean. And there is also, I think, some America-centric stuff like WWE. So most of this, or almost all of this, is accessible. You can watch your favorite multimedia. You can play the games as long as they're made accessible, of course. Mm-hmm. And all the settings are accessible. The only inaccessible part is anything to do with web browsing for some reason. So if there is a web view embedded in any experience, this will not be read, I believe, at least on the startup screen. What is not read is the place where you have to enable two-factor authentication on your PSN or PlayStation Network account and add your mobile number to it. But what happens instead then is that you are told, okay, this screen is not accessible on the console in the TTS version, in the screen reader. But if you want to do it anyway, here are the URLs you can go to from your computer or any other device to do these steps. And you can skip them for now, but you can do that later from another device that is accessible with web. So this is really good. They really thought about it. It's not ideal, but it's really the best solution for what it could be achieved at the moment. Also, from what I heard, as soon as you turn on in your accessibility settings your preferences on or off, so if, for example, I need audio description, I need subtitles, I need this, I need that, this should carry through to all your experiences that you watch. So if a game offers AD, you'll get AD in the game. If you watch something on Netflix and the series that you watch or movie that you watch has AD, you'll get AD. If you need subs, you'll get the subs. If you need some specific contrast settings, you'll get them in the games as well if they're supported. So you don't need to turn it on everywhere separately. Mm-hmm. Also, there is the option to dictate text, so you can do the dictation, and you don't have to use the on-screen keyboard or hook up an external keyboard. You can just have the controller. And yeah, a lot of what you want is actually read out to you. So as you go through the settings, as you go through the menu, as you go through the screen to start playing the game and watching your statistics, you can watch what your friends are up to in your PlayStation Network, if they're playing or not, and how you compare against them with the statistics in certain games. So all of the experience is accessible, and now here is to hoping that there will be more accessible games from now on, that it will not just be The Last of Us Part 2, but that there will be some new games from some more companies that will be accessible too. And yeah, it's really great to hear that the gaming industry on the mainstream side is also pushing forward, because it's a difficult accessibility issue to tackle, because with websites or apps, you sort of think in this pattern style that, okay, here is, I have to put a heading, here I have to label a form field, here I have to put a text on a link. But every game is different because it's actually designing 3D worlds and like whole of imaginary scenarios. And you have to really think creatively how to replicate it, and if it's at all possible to replicate the whole experience for a person who cannot see, because games were basically built in a visual way. So this is really new. This is explored just a bit, and there is still a lot of things unknown. For instance, whether blind people are able in all possible games to compete with sighted people in multiplayer, or this is not feasible, and maybe we should talk about like a computer game Paralympics or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when we think of gaming as an e-sport where you actually train and get some awards and you get better and better at it, and it's treated like a normal sport, at some point you start having these thoughts. And yeah, this is a whole new chapter to be explored, but I'm really happy to see that this is being done, and there are events on accessible gaming. There are people who want to think about how to do this better. I recently read, for example, about somebody doing a Minecraft mod where apparently blind people will be able to play, and it's also quite a challenge because the whole game revolves around building completely new creations out of preset blocks. And the ways in which you can bind these blocks together is countless, and you can be really creative, but it's a super visual exercise. So how to replicate this for people who cannot see the blocks? And yeah, this is really a whole new spectrum.
Okay, I see what I will do when I go to retirement.
Yeah, sure. By then, hopefully the whole spectrum will be somehow more accessible, and there'll be more in the know as to what we should do about this, how games should be accessible, and to what extent they can be still competitive.
Okay. No, but it's really cool to see that the stuff is evolving. As a matter of fact, we just talked about PlayStation 4. It was like half a year ago. And right now it's cool to see really that in PlayStation 5 they sorted out many, I will not say all issues, but many issues which were presented in the 4. Especially ones that were connected to the firmware thing and stuff where you were depending on US firmware, etc., which is now being fixed. So that's really good.
It's really nice that there is now a screen reader in this kind of device. Even I never thought I would play video games with my child, but even if you're not playing the games, you still can have an idea what they are doing on the device.
That too, for sure.
When you cannot follow the screen, you can at least, if you have any doubt, turn on the screen reader and check where they are, or if they get stuck, you can help with. That's really empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
stuff.
Xbox Series X is also out, but Xbox already had the reputation for having good accessibility on board.
Yeah, but there you say Microsoft knows about it, that they have screen readers in Windows, and for Sony, I think it's quite new to
and you have they actually developed brand new TTS voices, so you can hear. They have some custom. They don't use anything ready. They made their own voices, so they also think about this. And funnily enough, from what I heard, Xbox doesn't really offer that many accessible games. And with PS5, you already see, for example, The Last of Us. There might be some more. And, that's quite ironic that, the console that gave sort of better accessibility impression at first doesn't offer that many games that are accessible themselves. So it's still spinning, I guess. It's the whole idea of making really complex titles accessible. Yeah, that's still sort of developing, and I'm really curious. Maybe one day I'll be able to play FIFA. That would be interesting.
Yeah. But who knows? There are some, as a matter of fact, I know that there are some game developers from Croatia, who just recently got purchased by huge production studios from the States. So, yeah, maybe I should send them some tweets also, like, hey guys, pay attention to the accessibility.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is relatively new on the scale that we have been seeing, like with The Last of Us. So I think we need to be very much on edge and regularly letting people know of the importance of good accessibility in video games and that it is even possible.
Yeah, the problem is you cannot really give people ready-made solutions like with the WCAG. Like, look, here are the guidelines, just follow. Because in gaming, the problem is you have to innovate. And not everyone has the resources and the inbound values of innovating in this direction. So that's where it may be a bit slower than it is with websites and apps.
Yeah, but just letting people know that others are doing it and it is possible.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Just an eye opener. I think we aren't much further than that on this field.
Yeah. Let's see if we start bombarding them with many new ideas, and if somebody has also enough time to go into the beta testing teams for whatever, then you are on the right track, because then you can give enough input to developers what are they supposed to do, of course, if they want to listen to it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Demo time for a demonstration.
This time for you, contribution from Mr. Benjamin Hofer from Germany, who sent us the demo of Envision glasses. This is a new product which just appeared on the market, and you will be able to hear the demo at the end of our podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to my first demonstration on EBU Access Cast. I hope you're doing well. My name is Benjamin Hofer, I'm from Germany, and today I'd like to talk about a brand new piece of technology which not only has a lot of great features but also is usable by both totally blind and visually impaired people. I'm talking about Envision glasses today. Envision, some of you might have heard of the company making the Envision AI app. The app is available for both iOS and Android devices. It can do many things like reading text, recognizing people, objects, products, and importing pictures from different sources and so on. Envision now brought these features on a pair of smart glasses, more exactly said on the Google Glass Enterprise Edition 2, which is based on Android and thus is an open system. So most hopefully we can expect more features and also third-party apps on those glasses. Envision glasses is available as of now. It was officially launched on November 26 and can be looked up and ordered on Envision's website, letsenvision.com/glasses, and of course together with local distributors. I have my own pair of glasses since end of October. I got them during the pre-order shipments, and now I'd like to tell you a bit about how the glasses look like, what features we have on them right now, and how I'm using them. When you order the glasses, you can choose between a standard frame and a Smith Optics frame. The standard frame is without lenses, whereas the Smith Optics frame is for those who are wearing glasses and those who want to put their own lenses in. I have the standard frame. That's basically a small and lightweight titanium frame which is attached to the device itself when setting up the glasses. For the setup of the glasses, you need the Envision app. They are asking you to go to envisionglasses.com and then download and install the app if you haven't yet done so, and change to the glasses section in the app, and there you can pair the glasses with your app and you get explanations on how to attach the frame. The frame is basically the left part of the glasses. It goes from your left ear until the right hinge where it's connected to the device itself. The device itself is the right part of the glasses, so the part which is on the right side of your head when you are wearing them, and it contains the battery and the processing unit and the touchpad. You control the glasses using the touchpad and using very similar gestures to those you are used to on iPhone and Android devices. So with voiceover or talkback. There are swipe gestures, double taps, single taps, tap and hold, and with 1 or 2 fingers. If you're used to an iPhone or an Android phone, you will be very familiar with operating the glasses. The touchpad is located right on the temple when you're wearing the glasses, where you can access it very easily, and goes from the right ear to the front until the hinge. The camera is located in the front on the right hand side, but is angled to the left. So if you're holding something in front of you, it is recognized like the camera were in the middle. Let's do a short demo of the features of the glasses. If I do a 2-finger swipe down, I always come back to home.
Home.
If I double tap here,
it is 14:20. Today is Sunday, the 29th of November. Battery level is at 72%. You are connected to Fritz. Box 7490.
It tells me basic information about the time.
Do a 2-finger swipe down gesture to set your device to sleep mode.
And the date, Wi-Fi status, and battery life. And I can do a 2-finger swipe down to put the glasses into sleep mode. The sleep mode is now active. Let's wake it up. Yes. And then go through the different options in the menu.
Read. Identify. Find. Call. Device settings. Feature preferences. Help.
That's it for the categories. Let's go back.
Home. Read.
And if I double tap on read.
Read. Instant text.
I have the features in this category shown. If I do a tap and hold, every feature is briefly described.
Instant text. Instantly read text around you. Single tap to play or pause. 2-finger tap for more options. In more options, you can choose to switch between online and offline instant text.
Double tapping on that will read every text in front of me.
To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee. In instant text.
So that was a cover of a book. It reads every text that's in front of the camera. So you can use it very well for identifying groceries, but also outside for reading signs or for reading displays. For example, I'm using it to control my coffee machine. That is not accessible by default, but I can read and control the menu using instant text feature. That's really cool. In the description, it told us that you can choose between online and offline mode. The offline mode is usable without Wi-Fi connection, whereas the online mode requires internet connectivity, and the online mode is more accurate and, in my opinion, a lot better in recognizing the different kinds of text.
Instant text.
That was instant text.
Scan text.
Scan text is for longer and denser text, like in documents, things in the mail, screens, and so on.
Scan text. Scan a document or a long piece of text. 2-finger tap for more options. You can enable or disable text detection, which detects how many words are appearing in front of you. Double tap again to take a scan of the text.
Text detection is very handy, in my opinion. It detects the words appearing in front of you. And you can take a picture by double
Reader.
tapping.
To Kill a Mockingbird, the unforgettable novel of a childhood in a sleepy southern town and the crisis of conscience that rocked it. To Kill a Mockingbird became both an instant bestseller and a critical success when it was first published.
Can stop the screen reader by a single tap, and
Text exported successfully. Compassionate, dramatic, and deeply moving.
and we can export the text to the app so that it cannot be opened up in the Envision app, and then we can do something with it like saving it to a cloud or sending it via email.
Swipe down to scan text. Batch scan.
The last feature in the read category is batch scan. It basically works like scan text, but is for scanning multiple pages at once.
Read.
If I do a swipe down, I can leave the read category and
Identify.
go to identify. Let's double tap.
Identify. Describe scene. A laptop computer sitting on top of a desk.
Okay, I think that's kind of clear what this feature does. It snaps a picture and tries to describe what it sees.
Describe scene. Detect colors.
The second and last one here is detect colors. That works like any other color detector. It tries to recognize the colors, for example, on clothing. I have quite good experiences with it, but be aware of light conditions. So light conditioning has to be really good to make this work well.
Identify. Find.
The next category is find.
Find object. Backpack.
And here you can select between different objects and find them.
Bicycle. Chair.
We
Cup. Bottle. Keyboard. Cup. Laptop.
Okay, now it detected my laptop, so it blinks when it detects the object you've selected before.
Find object. Find people.
The next one is find people.
Find people. Find people. Looks like Ben. Find people.
Okay, I pointed it to my direction and it recognized me because I have saved my face in the Envision system, which can be done within the app. So you have to go to Glasses tab in the app and then save your faces, and then it will recognize faces. If there's a person that is not saved, it will bling as it did with object detection before. So you can tell if there are persons in the room or outside.
Explore.
The Explore feature is kind of both. It detects objects and people.
TV. Person. TV. Bed. Explore.
Okay, it recognized a person here on a picture on the cover, and it recognized the bed, and the laptop was recognized as a TV. So you can use it to look around with the glasses and scan the environment. That was the last feature here.
Find. Call.
And now that's the call category. That's a quite cool feature. You can add an ally in the Envision app who can be a friend, a family member, and who can see in a video call everything you have in front of you with the glasses and help you out in some situations. I think this is a very good idea.
Device settings.
Device settings contain settings such as speech rate, volume, Wi-Fi connectivity, Bluetooth connections. You can connect the glasses to Bluetooth speakers or headphones. You can do software updates there if some are available, and you can set the glasses to sleep mode and power them on or off.
Feature preferences.
Feature preferences contain preferences for some features of the glasses, for example, the online-offline mode of the instant text feature and the text detection, so the word detection of the scan text feature and so on.
Help.
And the help section finally contains tutorials for every feature and a playground to exercise the gestures on the touchpad. So that's it for the demo of the functions. I think the product is a very good one, especially because it's an open system, and as I said, it can be extended also by third-party apps. I especially think of things like Be My Eyes or IRA, where it's available, or like navigation apps that you can really control lots of things on the glasses itself. I personally use the glasses especially for reading things on packages, on screens, on displays, reading my mail with it. So every kind of things, but I also manage to read things outside like signs or text on stores or something like that. As I said before, it's really important that you have good light conditions when using the glasses. So if you're in a dimly lit or dark room, it's likely that most of the features are not working properly. That's what I had to keep in mind as a totally blind person. But Envision is aware of that, and they probably will try to add some features that tell you how good light conditions are and how the glasses can work. So maybe that's getting a bit easier in the future. For me, this is not a big problem. You have to be only aware of it. That's it for my demonstration. For more information, go to let'senvision.com/glasses. I hope you enjoyed the demo. Thank you for listening.
All right, so I think we covered everything for this show. This is the last episode for 2020, believe it or not. So, in the name of all of our team, we wish you Merry Christmas!
And a Happy New Year. Oh!
Yeah, and Happy New Year. And if you got some interesting stuff and some interesting demos of some products, send it to us. And we will publish it in the next episodes. We do have some indications of some of our listeners that we will get some demos. But until we don't get it, we don't publish it. So you better send it. Yeah. Of course, as always, we are reachable by our email, ebuaccesscast@euroblind.org, and via our EBU Access Cast Twitter, so you can reach to us wherever you want with your comments, suggestions, and we hope we are not too boring for you. And as always, the episode will be transcribed. And we are looking forward to see you in 2021. Have a nice
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. This has been EBU Access Cast.